Hello, guys. Happy Wednesday, and welcome back to another episode of the Woman in Progress podcast. I'm your host, Coach Alexi. If you don't know, now you know. And I'm also here with our new coach for EmbodyHER. For those who don't know, EmbodyHER is our women's online and lifestyle nutrition and fitness coaching service where we really put a heavy focus on behavior change and habit change and really embodying that next level version of yourself, hence embody her. So, Coach Crystal, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, say what's up, and I'm super excited to dive in today.
Yeah, so hey everybody, my name is Crystal, obviously. I have been in fitness for quite a few years. I got into it right after high school, so about like 10 years now. Been coaching consistently online since 2021 and just finished doing my second bodybuilding competition ever. So, fitness has been a huge part of my life for the past 10 years and it will always be part of my life. So, I'm really excited for you guys to get to know me more and see where I'm at in that fitness journey and where I started and where I am now.
Yes, you guys are going to be able to, and thank you for that, Coach Crystal, but you guys are going to be able to really you guys are going to be able to pull a lot of just like parallels from your own journey, your own life with, Coach Crystal's starting point and even going through bodybuilding prep. Like, even though bodybuilding prep is so different from like lifestyle fitness, there's still so much things that you can learn, right? From somebody who has gone through a bodybuilding prep, right? Multiple times and the highs and the lows of that. So, with that being said, Crystal, like let's kind of rewind back, you know, even to like your first bodybuilding show, like what actually motivated you the first time around? Because I know when I first competed, I was watching like YouTube vlogs of some of my favorite girls, and I was tired of my own shit, and I was tired of being a fucking lazy ass bitch drinking every weekend. And I was like, you know what? I feel like I need to activate that inner athlete again and do something kind of extreme and show myself what I'm made of. So I'm curious like how that showed up for you, knowing that we kind of have like similar backgrounds of like party girl, so I'm curious.
Yeah, so when I got into like the thought of it, I was like 20 years old, and one of my best friends was actually prepping for her first bodybuilding show. And her and I, like,
Mm.
we got into fitness together. We worked at a gym together and stuff like that. And we would follow all these bikini competitors on social media. And I saw her do her first competition in like November of 2016. And I was like, oh my God, I'm like, I would love to compete. And we were like, you know what? Let's do it together. So we're like, it's a great experience doing it with like one of your best friends.
That's so
So
fun.
it was interesting also to see that hers, like she's a vegan. So she was going through a vegan prep and I was going through a regular prep. So
Oh,
it
wow.
was very, very interesting. And she absolutely killed it. She placed like in her first shows and stuff like that. And she did a great job. But it was definitely us following social media, like following certain influencers and seeing that my best friend was doing it and she was able to do it. And I was like, why not go through a prep together and kind of see like pushing each other and see how far we can go together. So that's kind of what got me into it. I was into partying
I
at
love
that
it.
time, but not as much, especially since I was just 20 years old. So by the time I started prep, I had just turned 21. So my
Oh, okay, girl.
first,
I've been drinking way before 21.
oh no, same.
I'm like, "Oh, you got a fake?" No,
Oh
I'm
no,
kidding.
no, no. I used to like still like drink beforehand, but like I hadn't gone out like crazy
Hmm.
clubbing yet. Just a few times with my
Oh, I see
baby,
what you
but
mean.
hadn't gone out like that yet. So my first like few months of me being 21 and legal to drink was me being on prep. So it was very interesting to say the least because all my friends were turning 21 and I was on prep. So it was definitely a very interesting prep to say the least.
Yeah, when you say, like, interesting prep, like, did you have a lot of FOMO? Did you just feel really focused on your goals, but kind of felt lonely, like, everybody's partying and I can't do that, and, you're focused on your goals, but you feel a little bit lonely sometimes, and I'm sure people can relate to this too, like, just being fit or healthy or kinda going on this journey, whether it's prep or not, like, it can be lonely at times because you're not as relatable, right, to some people, so tell me, like, what you mean by that.
So it was interesting because I would try to be involved in everything, like all my friends turning 21 and I'm like, "Oh, I still wanna be there," and, like, be like, I was younger, so my mindset wasn't what I am today, like, I was able to go out during this prep and be totally fine without doing anything, but back when I was 21, it
Right.
was kind of hard for me, so I would be there with my friends, Not gonna lie, temptation did get to me sometimes. My best friend had
Yeah.
turned 21 in like April, and I was competing the first weekend of June, and I definitely ate out of plan, which I was not supposed to. And my coach
Yeah,
did
it
not
happens.
approve. But I can definitely say it was interesting because everybody was turning the same age as me, and it's like that fun age, and I'm here like I can't really do much, and I want to do it, and I did get tempted a few times, and I ended up kind of like falling into it. But
Mhm.
it's nice to see the difference how I was when I was 21 and being around temptation and kind of falling into it to 7 years later now being 28 and being around it and not falling into temptation whatsoever. So it was actually very interesting
Right.
to kind of see how much more mature I became in the last 7 years and how age really does signify a lot when it comes to doing something as serious as that.
Yeah, absolutely. And definitely, because me at 20, 21. When did I compete? Maybe I was 21. I think I was competing when I was 21, but I definitely went out and I definitely drank. We got like a hotel like in Brickell. Like I was like, bitch, we're going all out. Now my birthdays are like mad chill, but 100% now I just feel like, and for those listening, let us know if you agree. But like as you also just kind of grow up, like your body just does not respond the same to
Right.
alcohol and certain just substances as well as it used to. I feel like I had a like an iron stomach when I was like
Yeah.
younger, like early ages. Now I'm like, if I have two drinks, two wines, two cocktails, I'm
You're on
like
commission.
out for the next day. I'm
Right.
tired. All the symptoms. Um, but yeah, so I think that's super interesting to kind of see that difference. Now, what was life like? Because you mentioned 7 years. So there was 7 years between that first
Yeah.
show and that second show.
Yes.
And it's interesting because I actually know a lot of bodybuilders where they don't compete for 7 years. It's always like that number seven.
Really? I didn't
Like,
even know
yeah, I believe there's an IFBB pro. Her name's Jordan
this.
Lee. She didn't compete, I think, for like 7 years, and then she came back to it. But anyway, what what was life like after that first show? And how did your fitness journey and your health journey like how did that evolve after doing your first show? And what was life like the lows, the highs, and what did you learn from
Oh
that?
wow. My life was
Whatever you feel comfortable sharing,
my
of
life
course.
was a roller coaster. So after my first show, which I'm very open about, I fell into really bad binge eating. I completely hated working out. I despised
Mm,
food. I was disgusted with myself for a long time. Did not take care of myself whatsoever. I was very wishy-washy
mm,
with the gym, and then I slowly tried to get back into it. I even tried going back on prep later on that year for like a week, and then I told my coach, I'm like, yeah, no, absolutely not. I need to be alone right now. So I ended up
interesting.
not doing that whatsoever. And then the beginning of 2018, I started to get back into fitness, started to feel good again in my body. And my fitness kind of went downhill in 2018-ish as like the months went by because I ended up getting into like a very toxic relationship. My ex-boyfriend
Mm,
didn't understand fitness and didn't understand why I was going to the gym, felt like I was doing it for everybody else but myself. So
right.
I developed really bad anxiety during that time. I was so skinny, like not even from like fitness, just from straight up like anxiety, 115 pounds of just straight like
Yeah.
not eating and eating once a day was just
Yeah.
really, really bad. Um,
Yeah.
and that was my life.
And did you ever, sorry to cut you off, but did you ever get people just
Mhm.
curious? Because I've been there as well a long time ago, but did you ever get a lot of
Yep.
compliments from people, or you got a lot of compliments, right? Like you were literally probably not eating, filled with anxiety in this toxic relationship, and you lost all this weight.
Hmm.
Isn't that fucking crazy?
Yeah. Yep. Yep. I would get it all the time. They're like, yo, you look so good. In my head, I'm like, just
Girl, if
anxiety
only you
eating
knew.
one time a week. I mean, one time a day. Like, it is
Yeah.
not healthy whatsoever. It's like I'm not even lean and skinny because I'm like working towards it and I'm feeling my body correctly. I'm lean and skinny because I don't know when my boyfriend's gonna break up with me and I'm trying to just like kind of live
Mm,
through life and like kind of take it day by day. And my anxiety, there's like different types of anxiety. Mine is I don't have hunger whatsoever. There's people that they get triggered to eat. I get triggered to like not eat. I have my appetite is completely suppressed. All I want to do is kind of curl into a ball,
I'm the same
cry, and
way.
just not do anything whatsoever. it's like a ball in
Mhm.
my like throat. And that was
Mm.
my life for a year and a half. It was not fun. I completely missed this
Yeah, that's
part.
not
I
fun.
was also vegetarian after I prepped. I was a vegetarian for a
Oh,
year and a half.
damn, double whammy.
Yeah, I was also vegetarian for a year and a half. I did not eat any type of meats, no chicken, no beef, no nothing. I guess I was like kind of pescatarian because I still ate like seafood here and there. But mhm,
Question, not to cut you off again, but I'm just curious because did your change in your diet, like vegetarian,
mhm,
pescatarian, did any of that was like a subconscious like way to feel leaner or because I know for me, like there was a period of time where I was like, I thought like being pescatarian was just like leaner, cleaner,
right.
healthier, like in that way. I'm just curious if that came up for you at all, if that was tied to like your mental health or if it was more of like a no, I thought this is more healthier
It
vibes.
was more so because I felt like my body didn't break down protein the same after my prep. So I felt
Interesting.
like I ate so much like chicken and ground beef and ground turkey during my prep that I just felt like super bloated and couldn't break it down. But also now that I think back at it, I was also binge eating, so that's probably what it was.
It's probably
With
that
me,
too.
with me at the
But
time, I
yeah, I
told my
get
coach,
it.
I was like, I think I'm gonna go vegetarian. And like I told you, my best friend was vegan vegetarian, so it kind of went
I
hand in
see.
hand. So I ended up being vegetarian for a year and a half, and it would have went longer, but my boyfriend at the time was a piece of shit, and he tried literally making me try to eat chicken again, and he got me to eat chicken, and from there on, I was back to eating meat.
Damn.
Yeah,
She said she ate chicken against her will. She was vegetarian.
right, right. And I'm just like, that damn chicken really got to me.
Right, right. But hey, we're eating our protein now.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so okay, cool. So going back to, you were getting tons of
Mhm.
compliments. How did that affect you? Like, did you feel like if only you knew, or did you feel like low key, like flattered? Like, I'm just
I
curious.
definitely felt flattered,
Mm,
especially in like 2019 when him and I broke up, and I was super lean, really like I went to the gym like maybe like once or twice a week, but I was lean off tequila, seltzers, and like Starbucks in the morning. I don't know how I maintained that, and I would get so many compliments. And there was times where I would still post like a few years after that, like, oh my god, I wish I could go back to this leanness. But now I'm looking at it like, why would I want to go back to being just drinking off like tequila and stuff like that? Me being lean, like I wasn't even healthy whatsoever. And again, that
right.
all stemmed from the anxiety that I had from that past relationship. So I guess the anxiety still lingered for quite a few months after that. And I was still very lean, very skinny. Everybody was like, "You look amazing," and I would just take. I'm like, "Yeah, thank you so much." And my head,
Right.
like, yeah,
You
I'm
eating it
like
up.
still leaning. I'm like living my best life out here, just drinking and like going out and having a dandy old time. And obviously, it caught up to me in 2020 when I ended up
That's where I wanted to get to,
getting,
yeah. So for those
yeah.
listening, bitch, don't even fucking think about it because you can literally get fucking lean in a healthy way and actually working toward it. But I totally get it depending on the mental space that you're in. Like, I have people in my life that are like, shit, I wish that was my stress thing. And you say it until you're actually in it. And it's
Right.
like, this is not the vibes. But I can totally relate to that. My first toxic relationship, I got super skinny and like, it was not good. It was not fun. But as you were saying, kind of going into 2020 and the uh the rebound effect, which we talk about a lot. I even talked about this in the broadcast channel the other day of like, oh no, I actually have it batched. um uh I'm like, oh no, that's actually a scheduled piece of content. But um the quicker and more aggressive, and especially depending on your mental health, that weight loss
Yeah.
is, the stronger that rebound, that stronger the kind of sling back,
Right.
right? And then we stress about binge eating and overeating and oh my god, like I'm a binge eater because hello, coming from an ex binge eater as well. It's because of your fucking restricting. It's
Right.
because of the stress. It's because of those things. And when you get those things in check, right, which is what we do together at Embody Her, right? Like we work on how are you coping with stress? Like for me too, my appetite will be completely gone. It's like I got to work around that, right? So take us to 2020.
It's so crazy because, and I think of 2020, it was the year that everybody got into fitness and it's so amazing. And it did the complete opposite.
Yeah.
Literally,
Okay, so you were on that side of the coin, because I know for me, I did like a, we our show got canceled, so we did like a mock prep. So I was pretty much on prep during
That's
COVID. So I was active as fuck. I was on my shit, and everybody was getting into fitness, which I
yeah.
love. But you were on the other flip side of the
I was
coin.
on the other flip side of the coin. I was binge eating at home. I was living my best life just on my bed watching. What was I was watching Dexter.
But were you living your best life
No, I
though?
was
Not
genuinely
everything.
no, but at the time I was like, this is great. I don't have to work. I can eat
Yeah.
the fun foods that I want, and it caught up to me. It really, really did. Like I had said during 2019, I was always between 115 to like 118. I said 2019, right? Yeah, 2019. And once 2020 came and pandemic happened and I gained all that weight, I skyrocketed to 140, 41 pounds. So
Right. And you're tiny. So for those
yeah,
listening, what's your height again?
5 feet flat.
So you're 5 feet tall. So for those listening,
Yeah, so I look very
yeah.
stumpy. Obviously, it looks very different on everybody, like specific weight. But for me, because I'm so short and I have like thicker thighs and stuff like that, I just don't look the greatest. It's just not, for me, not the best.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I tried to get back into fitness during that year, but during the summer, everything opened up back up again, and I was going out and I was drinking and I was doing other things I should have not been doing. And it just all trickled until the end of 2020. And the beginning of 2021 was when I started to take the gym again seriously. I would go to the gym at 5 in the morning before my 9 to 5. I made it like a thing for me to get back on track. My eating wasn't completely the greatest just yet, but I was on my way to get back into that route.
Mhm.
So 2021 was where I tried to completely shift everything all over again after quite a few years of fucking that up.
Right. Yeah, but I love that because it shows that it's not just the fucking highlight. Like a lot of people go to our pages, and that's why I pinned my kind of story. But like a lot of people might come to our pages and you just think that we're like always been this way. Like we've always been healthy, we've always been fit, we've always like lived this balanced
Right.
lifestyle. We've always been disciplined, we're always super consistent. Not the fucking case. Like
Yeah.
it's actually, so if you guys are listening to this and maybe you're in a low in your kind of health and fitness journey, or you're experiencing the consequences of just not giving a fuck about yourself, your health, your body, and I think that that experience in it of itself, because I've definitely been there, it's like the canon event. It's like because of that, that's why you value health and fitness. Because of that, that's why you value, maintaining a healthy weight for your body and like maintaining a composition that is healthy for your body, and you feel confident and you feel good and you can wear the clothes and you can wear what you want and not fucking stress about it and take pictures and not stress about
Right.
it. But it's because you had those lows that got you
Yeah.
there. So would you say that you would have valued health and fitness as much as you do today, even if you're not like you're not perfect, right? But you value it without those experiences. Like if we were to just like delete all of the
Yeah.
lows, do you think that, I mean, it would have been the same thing. Like you just would have had that experience anyway. But yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
I feel like every journey you need to have some type of low. You have to. It's just, it makes the journey just so much like better. Your story is so much sweeter, and the outcome is just so much more, how do I say it? It just means so much more to you. And just to know that I
Right.
came from a background of binge eating, anxiety, partying, doing the whole nine, it was fun. I say fun for the party part, not for the anxiety or the binge eating part. But
It was fun in those
it was fun
days,
in those
right?
days. And it's nice to, reminisce it with my friends and stuff like that. But it's nice to know that I have a story, that I just didn't have this perfect fitness story, and that I just started fitness and it was just great from there on out, because realistically speaking, nobody's story is perfect. And just knowing that we all struggled with something at some point before we got to where we are now just makes you not only relatable, but it makes people be like, wow, like this is really freaking dope. Like she just didn't have a perfect like fitness career. She went through really high highs and really low lows. And that's what makes you stand
Right.
out.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of times people just want to be seen as like perfect online. And I get it because, you're being seen by people, which opens you up to judgment and opens you up to like all of that. But at the end of the day, like, as much as there is like, maybe people in your life or, watching you that have certain assumptions, there's the equal amount that support you and know your story. And I think that's why it's important to share that because yeah, like we're not perfect. Like I struggled. Oh my God. I have to do like a revamp of like my fitness journey because that was like my first two podcast episodes. But for you, Crystal, now that 2021, you are like back on track with your health and fitness, you're going to the gym at 5 a.m. How was that overall? Like obviously you felt fucking great, but like in those moments, when you wake up at 5 a.m. and you don't want to fucking go, or you're just like, oh, I could just sleep until 7, or I could just sleep until 8. Cause like even me, I love my sleep. Like that's why my sleep routine needs to be on point. Cause I will choose sleep every time. Like I just will.
Absolutely.
So walk us through that of like, okay, a little bit more balanced fitness era because of the lows. But like how did you navigate the days where, you know, you just want to be off. You just, you don't feel like fucking cooking. You don't feel like going to the gym. Yeah, tell us about that.
So definitely at that time, going to the gym at 5 in the morning was not fun, especially because at that time you still had to wear a mask in the gym. So it's just like, oh, I have to wake up early. Oh,
Oh
I
my
also have to wear a
god.
mask while I'm lifting. Oh my god, this is so hard. But
Oh my god, I remember
what a
that.
time. Um, but one thing about me is I know myself to the T. I'm not gonna go to the gym after work. There's just no way.
Right. I say that all the
There's just
time.
no way. I'm not gonna deal with the 5, 6, 7 p.m. rush. I know myself. Even if I say I'm gonna sleep in now and I'm gonna go later, I'm not gonna go later. I know myself. So I always told
Mhm.
myself, "Are you really gonna go later, Crystal? No. Get your ass up and just go. Like, just do it.
Right.
Choose." In a way, it's basically choose your hard. And that was me choosing my hard. Me getting up and saying like I'm gonna go to the gym because I know I'm not gonna do it later. I know myself. Especially when I was going to LA Fitness at the
Mhm.
time. Absolutely not.
Absolutely, absolutely the fuck
Absolutely the
not.
fuck not. So I just always decided to just choose my hard. Choosing my hard as in, yes, I'm gonna go to gym at 5 in the morning, even if I don't want to wake up. I'd rather do that than make the excuse later on and say I'm just not gonna go and still show up for myself.
Mhm.
Same thing with my meals. Do I really want to go and spend money on outside food at work? No, I'd rather prep my meals and know that I am fueling my body correctly and I'm prioritizing myself. This was like a whole new journey for me all
Mhm.
over again after taking off so much time. And I decided to choose the right hard, not the hard that I would regret later on.
Oof. I love that. And future you is thanking you. And that's what I always say, do it for your future self. Right. I'm going to keep chatting while I just turn the AC off but I absolutely love that. I feel like this is such a realistic journey in and of itself. And then you decided to compete, right? Which I love that, by the way, again, of like choosing your hard. Um, if you guys find yourself thinking like, oh, like, because I remember a lot of times in my journey, our journey, right? I have to go to the gym. I have to meal prep. Ugh. It's like that energy, it's going to happen, but they're both going to be fucking hard. So at least one hard gives you a reward, real dopamine. You feel a sense of accomplishment. The other hard is like that instant gratification. It's that comfort in the moment, but then you feel the pain of that later. But just remember, guys, that like there's no shame in this game. That is important for you to go through so that way you have the contrast, you have that contrasting experience of like, oh, this doesn't feel good. I give a fuck about waking up at 5 a.m. even stronger now because I have enough of these experiences, right? So I love that you brought up just like there has to be a low in your fitness journey. Like nobody has a perfect
Right.
time. And if you do, fuck off. No, I'm kidding.
Most definitely.
So you competed in your second
Yes.
show, which I loved seeing your experience, and I'm definitely excited for like your next show when the time is right. What was so different about this time around compared to the first time around? And yeah, just walk us through that. Like, what was different about it? What was your overall experience? And then we can kind of go into maybe some of your
Yeah.
learnings.
So I definitely believe everything has to do with the coach that you choose. Me having
Mm.
Callie as my coach was game changer, was absolutely amazing. I'm so happy I chose her because a year ago I was searching for coaches, doing calls with different coaches, seeing which one best fit me, and I chose her, and I'm glad that I did because I think back to 7 years ago, I wasn't texting my coach. It was all through email. It's very, very
Oh
ancient.
my god, I remember that.
It's not like, oh, like WhatsApp message or text messages. Like, no, it was an email and I have to wait whenever she decides to email me back to hear from her. And that wasn't very fun, to be honest.
No,
It did not make the
no,
journey very easy, especially as my first bodybuilding show and you're my online coach. So having Kelly in my
right.
corner, having access to her to easily just text her and stuff like that. And honestly, like she made my prep just so much easier. I enjoyed all my meals. I didn't feel deprived. I felt fueled. She had me so healthy throughout my prep. And TMI, that
That's
I also
amazing.
never lost my period, which was amazing because a lot of
Wow,
women
that's
do
awesome.
lose it. And I lost it 7 years ago. I didn't remember. My mom remembered. My mom was like, "Oh yeah, you lost it." I'm like, I don't remember that, but I'm glad you did because I didn't remember that I lost
Oh my god. Knowing what we know now about, like, hormones, the way that we were fucking up our hormones back
it.
then,
Right.
like, fuck.
So bad.
Anyway, so bad, like, thank God we're just in 2 pieces or in 1 piece.
Right. So knowing that I still had my period throughout my prep, I was eating food that I actually enjoyed eating. I was never like, oh, I don't want to eat this. I'm like forcing myself to eat it. Like I liked all my food, like my training, and just having a great relationship with your coach is why whether it's a bodybuilding coach you're looking for, a lifestyle coach, it has to be someone that you genuinely align with and have a great relationship with and a good vibe with. Because if you don't and it's just a transactional thing, you're not going to get it anywhere. They're just going to send you your programming, send you your food, and then they're like, okay, bye, see you next check in. Whereas having someone actually in your corner who asks you questions, challenges you, actually cares about your internal health, which is huge, especially in bodybuilding, that's the type of coach you need to look for if you're ever thinking about competing because there's just coaches who will just send you anything and be like, okay, see you next week during your check-ins and not really care about building that relationship with you. So back in
Yeah.
2017, like I said, it was emails. So I'd really only talk to her during check-ins. Be like, okay, bye, here's your plan with PDF file, not even like anything else.
And it's funny because there's lifestyle coaches like that too, or
Mm-hmm.
like quote unquote, like I mean, I wouldn't say they're a lifestyle, but there's like nutrition trainers, PTs. There's so many great ones out there for
Yeah.
sure. But like even a lot of our clients, they've come to us and they're like, yeah, I mean, I had a trainer before and it was like this experience, or I had a coach before and it was this experience. Or if y'all are listening, if you want to change your lifestyle, please don't hire a bodybuilding coach.
Right.
Like I feel like that happens a lot where you're listening to your bodybuilder cousin, or
Mm-hmm.
you're trying to hire like a bodybuilder coach because they look so good, and it's like that's not really in alignment with lifestyle.
Right.
And especially as women, we need more of like that holistic approach. We like to have a connection with our coach,
Mm-hmm.
be a part of the community. So I love that you brought that up.
It's definitely huge. I think more than anything, when you're looking for a bodybuilding coach, you just really need to find someone that cares about your internal health. Lifestyle as well, of course, because obviously you and I are lifestyle coaches, but because your body goes through so much during prep, not having a coach that cares about your internal health and how your body responds to certain things and wants you to get blood work done and wants you to actually figure out like the issue if there is an issue, like it's just really, really important. So hiring Callie was 10 out of 10 the best experience ever, and she's the reason why my experience was great. And ultimately, I just think the coach that you choose will make or break your experience in prep.
Absolutely. I think that's huge as well. And coaches in general, right? Like don't penny pinch around this stuff, guys. Like especially if you really want to make that deep transformational change. I always say this, like people are like fucking, you're told growing up, like don't talk about money, but like money is like it's a part of our everyday lives, right? Like it's how we move through life. It's like one of the core things when it comes to that. And so I see sometimes like with coaches, bodybuilding coaches, or, even fitness nutrition training, or again, guys, it should be a coach that you align with. If I see a lot of people penny pinch in these areas, but like you get what you pay for. And one of the most important areas to actually invest, like if you can invest like in your lashes and skincare and nails and these little things that we just
Right.
purchase, that is one of the most important areas, right? Like you're not gonna penny pinch to get your hair done or penny pinch to get your nails done because you know it's not going to be good quality. It's not going to be that. So being able to have someone really in your corner, a mentor in a way to building that lifestyle change is super super key. And I just wanted to point that out as we're on the topic of coaches before we kind of
Yeah.
transition, because I do believe that it's an area that money is energy, and so you're putting that energy into yourself, and it's gonna, when you penny pinch, you don't show up the same way, you don't get the support that you need, you don't actually get educated, you don't actually get that true change. And it gives you that fire under your butt, honestly, when you actually have a relationship with your coach, when you actually have like good quality coaching and a good quality program, and you're investing in yourself to actually fucking
Right.
execute, to like, you gotta show up, right? Like you're like, I got my check in this weekend. Like my coach actually gives a fuck.
Right.
Like I know they're not just gonna like, you know, I can just, pull the wool over their eyes, whatever.
Right.
So I just wanted to point that out. But you mentioned coach, and then your overall experience this prep is clearly obviously amazing because you had Callie as your coach, which we love you, Callie. Um, Now you just competed like this past weekend, or no? Has it been 2 weeks
It's
already?
about a week and a half now.
Wow. Time just like, I feel like it's just like
Time is
so fast.
non-existent.
It really isn't existent though. That's actually true. Um, you obviously just got feedback from your
Yes.
judges, which was awesome feedback. How did you feel show day? Like what was your experience like show day? How did you feel about like how you showed up on, like, that initial feeling when you get off
Yeah.
stage and you're like, because I remember like I was like, oh, like I feel like I crushed it, but like the back pose, or maybe you're like, yeah, that was amazing. Like, how was that experience like? And then kind of take us into today, like show day, judges' feedback, and today, and what's next for you.
Right. So it's actually really funny. I thought I would have been so much antsier show day and leading up to show day. I thought I was going to be bawling my eyes out. I had warned Callie already, and I was weirdly calm. Like Callie was like,
Mm.
I don't know if I should be happy about this or if I should be like worried.
Worried.
She's like, you're a little too calm. Even my boyfriend was like, this is interesting. Like I thought I was going to be like a whole mess. But I was actually really, really calm. I started to get the jitters as I was waiting to get on stage. I was like, okay, I guess this is like now I'm realizing I'm actually about to like step on stage and compete. And I thought when I hopped on stage, like when I finished like my routine and everything, I was like, damn, yo, I definitely looked nervous. I'm like, I definitely did,
You did
but I
not
didn't.
though.
And I was so surprised that Callie was like, you actually looked great. And I was like, oh my God,
No.
thanks.
Not actually. She said no, actually. She was probably like, "Oh my god, I hope she's all good." That
Yeah, no, I thought
was
like
so funny.
because I felt like a little bit of the jitters, like me shaking. And seeing the
Mhm.
video afterwards that my cousin took, I was like, oh shit, I actually did like really good. Like I came out with the sass that I wanted, and that made me super happy. Um, when I got off stage, I kind of already knew my placing. I knew my placing in novice, I knew my placing in open, and me and Callie discussed it afterwards. Um, but I was
How did you feel about your placing? Were you, like, super proud of yourself still? Like, how did you
I
feel?
felt good. I was happy that I placed third in novice. My mom and dad
That's
were
great, girl.
through the roof. They were the happiest things ever. My dad hugged Callie afterwards. Crystal got third place and like hugged her. It was
Yeah, you
the cutest
crushed it,
thing
girl, like,
ever. It was really,
yeah.
really nice to see them very happy. Um, it was a competitive lineup for open. I knew what I was going up against. You're going up against different women that have been more experienced in this. It didn't doesn't really matter. Just more so matters about your height at that point. So you're just going with women that are within your height range. So
Right.
I knew that it was going to be really hard for me to place like top, but overall I was still happy. I knew what my weak points were going into the show. Me and Kelly had already discussed it, and it was confirmed to me with the judges' feedback yesterday, which was conditioning, which
Mhm.
super, super happy with the judges' feedback. Like I was like, oh, he remembered my stage presence. That's awesome. Like, I really made me happy that that was pointed out. I'm glad that like my structure and my symmetry and everything looks great, but I knew I just needed to come in more conditioned and then have obviously a few more lines in my leg area. But just getting that feedback, I'm like, damn, yo, like I already had a feeling this is what it was, but just getting that confirmation and then getting the little like cherry on top of, I think you can make some noise at nationals. I'm like, that's actually pretty dope. Um,
Oh, yeah. Like, like, you actually fucking
yeah,
will. You did so good. Like, when I saw that video, I'm like, stage presence on
yes,
point, just absolutely crushed it. I'm so excited for your next show, obviously, when that will be. So, now, like, you're obviously in off season, you're in your reverse diet. Um, like, what's kind of next for you? Like, what are you feeling into? Like, what's kind of coming up? And for those listening, like sometimes after bodybuilding shows, you get a little bit of called post show blues, which, is natural to have. I think you also get it like postpartum too. Like,
yes.
you get like the post baby blues, which is funny. Anyway, my random ass. So, yeah, what's next for you
So
and how are you
right
feeling?
now I'm reversing, and I did have post-show blues for a while. Prep was my life for 6 months, so that was like literally my identity. Like prep came before anything and everything, even before like anything I wanted to do for myself. Like prep was just first. So not
Right.
having to do that anymore was a very weird shift for me. I'm like, oh, this is kind of icky. Like bring me back to the structure. Bring me back to having to follow like things to the freaking T. Like I miss that. And now
Hmm.
it's just me creating this balance and harmony in life right now where still sticking to my plan, still lifting, still eating correctly, and also still giving myself grace when I do go out with my boyfriend or with my friends and allowing myself to not feel guilt because I'm not on prep. So it's just it's a really weird shift after the first half of the year, super strict, to now I have to be like strict on myself, but not super strict because obviously your body is so sensitive these first few weeks post show that anything can affect it, especially like your hormones and what you eat and what you put into your body affects that. So it's definitely just really weird moments right now, but I'm kind of like learning how to navigate through it. I was talking about it with Callie. One of my main things is when you go out to eat, right, and you order food, you look at the plate in your mind, you're like, okay, I'm gonna eat this whole thing. Like I'm gonna devour this shit, right? And
Hmm.
especially on prep, you have to eat your entire meal. So I was telling
Right.
Callie, right now I need to remind myself that I can't eat a restaurant's regular portion. My body is not used to that. For so many months, I was only allowed to eat a certain amount of food, and I need to slowly, gradually increase my food intake. So I'm learning that when I do go out to eat, I don't need to finish everything on the plate. And that was my biggest problem for the first week. Like, I felt like I needed to finish everything. And I'm just
Right.
realizing that, yes, I can still enjoy it, but don't feel like you need to eat everything there because your body legit can't handle it. And that's why I feel bloated, icky, and gross after it. So, kind of just finding
Right.
that balance and relearning my body and kind of giving it like some type of grace, but still sticking to the plan. Definitely a really weird
Right.
transition.
Yeah, it definitely can be, but and for those listening, like, her body's so sensitive because she just did a prep, right? Like, you just went on, like, a super long cut, got really lean for your body, and you're very anabolic after any deficit, which is why for our clients, when they are in a calorie deficit and they lose the weight that they want to, we have to transition them to phase three, right? Which is a restore and reverse phase. It's the exit strategy from the cut. And I think a lot of times when people try to do it themselves, it's like two sides of the spectrum. They're either adding calories so stupidly slow in that it doesn't make sense because they're so afraid to gain the fat back. Like 25 calories every 4 weeks makes no sense, or
At all.
50 calories, every 2 weeks, right? And then it's too slow, which can then you start to overeat and it can kind of catch up to you. Or you just completely fall off your reverse diet. You're just like, oh, I'll just eat at maintenance, whatever. And then it's just very slippery
Yeah.
slope. I tend to fall on that side of the scale. It's like the cut is like super fun. And then now you have to kind of like rewire your brain in a way to still value structure and like accountability.
Right.
It's just 10% less or like 7% less. It's like a little rewire in a way. So what do you feel like, how do you feel like you need to rewire your brain, like being taken away what your brain is seeing as like structure, which really it's not really structure, it's
Right.
rigidity, right? Like it's structure in a way, but like you have to be on point. You have to be on it. You like fucking from water to steps and everything on point all the time. How do you feel like you want to rewire and kind of like shift your focus to now where it's like still having
Mhm.
structure, but the rigidity piece, it's like that's like the tricky part, right? So I'm curious, like, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I feel like the basics have just become part of like my life, like my habits, the water, my
The
steps, the
basics. Yeah.
lifting, cardio, all that. Like it hasn't really been hard for me. I think the more so part has been hard for me is like the eating out aspect of things. And
Hmm.
like I said, it's just realizing that I just can't eat the whole plate and that's totally okay. That's just like my biggest part
Right.
in this reverse process is when I step outside
Just
and go
little
to a
changes.
restaurant, humbling myself and being like, Chris, like old you could have definitely devoured this whole thing by yourself. Right now, just give your body some time to eventually get up, like bring up your calories and just eat enough to where you're full and eat slow enough to where you can process that. Because sometimes when we're eating super fast, our
Yeah.
brain can't process it. So we're like, we're eating, we're
Right.
eating, we're eating. We're like, oh, I'm good. And then a few minutes pass by, you're like, oh shit, I'm fucking, my button's about to
Full.
like pop out right now.
Right. Yes, yes. Oh my God. Yeah, it's super important to slow down, guys. But I love that little kind of just tweak. And what you can even do is like ask them to pack half of it like ahead of
That's
time,
literally what Kelly
or
said.
just like, yeah, literally. That's what I used to do because I would just eat it. Like even if I put it to the side, like I would
You're like,
just
oh,
eat
it's
it.
still there.
Um, oh yeah, like oh more food. Yeah, it's actually crazy because you will eat it. What's in front of you. It's just like subconscious, but that's super smart.
Mhm.
I love that. So we're wrapping up the last few minutes of this podcast. I feel like today was like so fucking great and I'm excited for people to listen in. Um, what would you say is your advice to anybody who wants to compete or is just really interested in taking their overall health and fitness journey to that next level, whatever that looks like? Maybe it's taking it more serious, really rewiring their mind. Maybe it's investing in themselves. Like, what would be your advice to anybody who's just kind of like, they're, really committed to these goals, but they know that there's something next for them. They're just not sure how to kind of like go about it.
Right. I always advise getting a coach and investing in
Mhm.
a coach. How can I say it? It's easy to invest in a coach. You can literally just sign a contract, be like, okay, yeah, I'll pay you X, Y, and Z, no problem. And then there's a difference in investing in a coach and actually putting your all into it. And the reason why I say that
Mm,
is because when I first invested in Cali last year, I was super excited. I was going to go all in on my off season, and I super half-assed my off season. And it's like I invested in myself, but did I really invest in myself? So it's like if you're going to
mm,
actually try to change your lifestyle and commit to your goals, invest in yourself, but really put in the work and don't make your money go to waste. I see that so
mhm.
often where they're like, yeah, I invested in a coach and it's going to be great. And then once it comes to actually doing the thing, it's like you're half-assing it. And it's like, dude, am I really spending this money for me to half-ass it? Or am I spending this money to really get the full experience and actually get the goals that I want to get to? And that was a struggle that I had at the
Absolutely.
beginning of my prep because I was half-assing my prep at the beginning. And I sat down with myself and I'm like, I am not spending all this time and money to be half-assing a prep and going on show with a half-assed body like I did 7 years ago. So it's like investing in a
Right.
coach is everything, but if you do decide to do it, truly invest in it and really put in the
Mhm.
work and make the most out of your expense for it.
I love that. I absolutely love that. It's the return on investment, right? Like, we can't just give you that. You have to actually execute.
Right.
And I think that's also what holds people back sometimes from investing is they're always waiting to be fully, fully ready. And you'll know when you're ready, guys, but also that can go away in fucking 5 minutes. Like I've been like, oh my God, I'm ready. And then like I like pussy out like 2 seconds in and I'm like, nah. And then I go back. So if you're fearful of that, right? Like maybe you're fearful of investing in yourself and failing, or investing in yourself and not showing up the full way. It's the same thing as like, you can either fucking choose to be single forever, or you can heal from that, first experience, and continue to show up for yourself and fight for yourself and for that vision, right? I would say try to get as far as you can on your own and then invest. Or if you just want to collapse the time on that altogether and you know that you'll do the work if you're
Right.
investing, invest. So I absolutely love that, Coach Crystal. I feel like today was awesome. And yeah, I feel like that this is great for today. Is there anything else that you wanted to kind of share? Um, any last words?
I guess
Anything coming through, or does that feel
I
complete?
guess the last things I would say is if you have a goal, work towards that goal. Don't let anyone or anything get in between you and that goal. Do everything you can to reach that goal and put that goal first. And as long as you're consistent and you remind yourself every time of your why and of your goal, when things get like a little wishy-washy, you'll reach it. But it's going to take time and consistency, and it's worth it.
Yeah, I love that. Absolutely, totally agree. It's not a matter of if, just like
Right.
when. If you just don't stop, you will get there. But if you quit altogether, self-fulfilling prophecy, I mean, you pretty much just chose the thing that you're afraid of the whole time,
Right.
right? I was telling our client, Claire, this, which, by the way, girl, I know you're listening, so hey. Oh, I said in the group chat, there's like, fucking working towards your goals is hard. Sometimes that vision is so fucking scary because it doesn't even feel
Right.
real. And this is why we always say focus on one step at a time instead of looking at the whole staircase.
Right.
It's like if you're going on this huge hike and you're just looking at all the mountains and all the land ahead of you, you're gonna get fucking overwhelmed. But you gotta start where you're at now. You gotta start at your feet. You gotta be where your feet are and take one step and one step and one step. And there's gonna be detours and there's gonna be, challenges. Like think of like the Wizard of Oz, like the fucking monkeys come through and like there's gonna be things coming
Yep.
on. But if you don't stop, you will get there. You will get to that desired reality, right? Um, and there's nothing harder, like, that is hard, but there's nothing harder than fucking just watching time pass by and just life pass by, and you do fucking nothing about it
Right.
and make it something that is not within your control, and you're just watching it pass, and we've all been there, and so if you are in that place or have been there, like, no shame, and this is just a reminder that you have the fucking power. Like I've struggled with depression, you've struggled with anxiety. So like we've been there. And you also don't have to be stuck there. And a lot of times we choose to be stuck there subconsciously because it's just all we've ever known, or it's safe to us, or it just literally, in my situations, like it absolves you of actually doing the
Right.
work, right? Because I'm too fucking depressed. I can't
Yep.
move. If a gun was to my head, though, I could, right? And this is all tough love, guys, because we fucking love you guys. And we're so excited to hear your takeaways. If you're ready to take that next level in your overall health and fitness journey, your embodiment journey, your transformation, right? And you know deep down that there's a part of you that's healthy, fit. She has a good relationship with food and she's healed these generational kind of patterns. Then you got to have someone in your corner who can help guide you there. You got to have like that mentor. And if you're feeling that call, you can go ahead and book a call with us and apply for one-on-one coaching in the show notes below. Thank you, Coach Crystal, for your
Thank
time. I'm
you.
super excited, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.